tell you something, brother. The name's Hulk Hogan, dude. And if you think that you're gonna run wild on Hulk Hogan, then you got... my pinky, my pinky! Hola, amigos. It's Will here from Will's Custom Figures, coming at you today with a big, bad breakdown and an overview of 4 custom wrestlers that I'm working on at the moment. So please, guys, sit back and relax while I talk you through why and how I'm making Kenny Omega. Why I'm making, oh God, you can't believe it, rest in peace legend, absolutely underrated, Kevin Sullivan, the recently retired Rick Boogs, and of course, Nacho Libre. I hope you enjoyed this video. First things first, why am I making these? Well, a good friend of mine, David, has reached out and he's looking to get some cool cast of characters in his WWF Retro Hasbro collection. And of course, I couldn't turn down the opportunity to work on 4 absolutely brilliant characters that I've either worked on before or some of them that I've never even had a commission on. So, I'm really, really excited to get into all the details, what I'm doing, and all the little ideas and things and that I'm going to try and fit into these action figures. There's a lot of potential, a lot of ideas, and a lot of paintwork that's left to go. So yeah, this is only the start, and I hope you're looking forward to this. So firstly, let's start with one of my favorites, very, very underrated. Here he is, good old Rick Boogs. As you can see here, looking really cool. Let's get him on the hot plate. Let's get him on, this isn't a turntable, but I'm using it as like a little bit of a, I guess, a slightly different version of the turntable than you've seen before. I think when the clay is raw, like the clay is super raw on this figure, I don't want to put him on my spinny turntable in case they fall off. So yeah, I'll be doing a full review once this figure is finished. But as you can see here, Rick Boogs looking very cool. Of course, guess who the body is Bret the Hitman Hart. Now, Rick Boogs unfortunately had to retire. I'm not sure all the specifics behind it, but me and my son saw him about 18 months or so ago wrestling in the UK in, oh God, what arena was it? I think it was the arena in Birmingham. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it now. Either way, very, very cool show. And you know what? He didn't have a bad outing. It was a good match. Was Rick Boogs going to be the next world champion? I'm not sure. I don't know. But I enjoyed watching him. And my son certainly enjoyed watching him as well. I know he had a really bad injury at WrestleMania when he was teaming with Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Usos. Nevertheless, I still want to work on this guy, and it's going to look absolutely brilliant when he's done. Definitely one of my son's favourites, and I'm sorry he had to retire. So as you can see here, there was an awesome looking 3D printed head that was sent to me, and I've used, as always, Super Sculpey clay to really give a nice smooth finish on the neck and to join it on to the body. Now, with all of my customs that I work on, I always like to get the head attached first and then sort of work outwards. However, Bret the Hitman Hart has done all the heavy lifting with this figure because the body is pretty much perfect. So, guys, that's it on this one. I am going to move on to, rest in peace, Hall of Famer, good old Kevin Sullivan. Now, with Kevin Sullivan, guys, this guy, for anybody that doesn't know, man, he was basically the backbone of WCW throughout the whole Attitude Era, throughout the NWO and everything else in between. He looked very similar in some ways to the Hulkster. Let's just do a nice little picture of them both together. But he was a little bit smaller, probably a little bit less marketable. One of my all-time favourite Kevin Sullivan memories was when he was in the Dungeon of Doom. If you've not seen on this channel, I've worked on Kevin Sullivan's master from that team. Of course, you had Kamala and all these other Vader, all these other cast of characters in there. But that was only a very, very small portion of his career. Man, Kevin Sullivan had a career and a knowledge that spanned many, many decades. And yeah, my favourite memory was Dungeon of Doom, and he's got a shovel and he's got a Hulk Hogan action figure very similar to this. If you've not seen it, put it on YouTube, and he's bashing it, going, "You're going to get buried, you're going to get buried." Oh, me and my friends had such a laugh watching that. Now, same thing applies. Great 3D head sculpt. Thank you to one of my friends, Nick, for working on that. And then I've tried to use the clay that I've attached, you can probably see around here, to make the hair look like it's going a little bit further. It's a nice way of using clay to attach to a body, but and having a lot of clay. There's quite a lot of clay attaching this neck on there, but I didn't want it on a little spindly neck that could snap when it's posted. I want to make sure that I'm using that clay and carving away bits of the clay to make it look like he's got a bit longer hair, and that always gives a nice finish. Now, as you can see, this is a rocker's legs, so I've took off the tassels and I've covered them over. When they're painted, you won't even tell. And I've also used what I think is really, really nice, a bushwhacker's upper body, and then used clay to, where I've cut it there, I had to use a hacksaw to get through that and cover up the work that I did. Now, that one's not actually for my friend David that I'm working on these commissions for. That is just one that I want to do for my own personal collection. If anyone's interested in owning him, just let me know, but I'll be keeping him unless anyone wants to buy. Now, on to Nacho Libre. I was sent this absolutely horrific beta. I guess it's a Jake the Snake or a Matador body, but as you can see, it is battered. This was not painted by me. I don't know what paint it's been painted in, but it's really left a lot to the imagination. Not very nice. You can see it's scratched off. It's probably been not well looked after, chucked in a box or in someone's attic or loft. And I wanted to get the Nacho Libre, the vibes from him. So yeah, I've used clay to sculpt this like giant pants, whatever it is, his tights. He sort of pulls them up over his belly. This is really, really funny film actually from probably about 15 years ago, and a great 3D printed head there, again attached with Super Sculpey around the neck. Now I've tried to thicken his waist and his torso. As you can see, it's more of a trunk now rather than a thin sort of like V. It's more like this for his, where his waist joins the bottom. And I'm really, really looking forward to getting this guy painted. Once you paint it, you will see that the paint will cover up all these little imperfections, these little scratch marks and things. If there's any that aren't, then there's going to be an awful lot of paint on there applied quite thickly. And I do have a different air drying clay that I can use called Milliput for any massive things that jump out. And on to AEW's Shining Star. Here we are, Kenny Omega. Man, do you know what? This guy is and has been rated one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. I've never got the opportunity to see him wrestle live, but absolutely can't wait to get this guy finished in his street clothes. I have used the Jim Neidhart here for the body. Really happy with that choice. As you can see, it's a nice upper torso, still some movement there. I can completely turn it, but I just don't want to damage the clay. And I have covered up the boots at the bottom, put a nice little bit of stitching at the bottoms of the boots, of the trousers as well. And I've also covered up the belt. Now, whenever I'm working on a character that's wearing clothes, I try to keep it sort of simple, because a lot of it is going to show and express itself with the paintwork. You don't need things to be exactly perfect with clothes as well. Of course, clothes don't just go like a straight line at the sleeve or whatever. So I've pushed this down and left a few little lines and bumps and waves in the clothing. I've tried to do little things like covering up the pins, which I think will be nice. He had a random slice here on the bicep. I don't know what that was for, but he's still got the articulation there. And with I always apply the head first, as I mentioned before. I make sure once the head's applied, I then use the hair, as I have done here, to make sure there is a nice big thick area attaching the head to the neck and to the rest of the body. And then I've done the V-neck. This is all still raw clay. And then I've got a little sausage, rolled it, started to press it firmly, and then blend it from there into the rest of the body, as you can see. I've also covered up the belly button because you don't want that on show. And guys, that's it from me. Just a little bit of a nice sneak peek behind the scenes. Let's bring in all the crazy characters. Here we go. Here's good old Boogs. Looking forward to saying goodbye. Next time you see him, he will be completely finished. So stay tuned. I'm very, very excited. Here, of course, is good old Kevin Sullivan. And it wouldn't be a cool video unless you brought in old Jack Black, old Nacho Libre. And that's it from me, guys. Can't wait to get started painting on these. I need to get the clay cooked, which is a downside of using Super Sculpey, but it's definitely an upside in the finish, in the really, really high quality finish that Super Sculpey gives. And as you can see already, these guys are looking neat. They're looking smart. They're looking extremely, extremely good. The 3D head sculpts are phenomenal. And guys, that's it from me. Please give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, give me a follow. Please, if you're not subscribed to this channel, feel free to subscribe. Thanks again for getting me to 1,000 people subscribed to this channel. I really, really appreciate it. And all I can assure you is there is going to be some insane, some brilliant, some badass content here to come. So from me, from this set of 4 crazy customs, and from the Hulkster and his poorly finger brother, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Adios.